How's it going, shit?
Yes, hello, shit. Hello, shit.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Yeah, let's fucking mill about. Come on!
Keep your eyes off my fucking stupid hairline, please.
So Jordan, Chris, where'd you first meet?
Surprise question. In a hockey dressing room, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You were 13 or so?
Yeah, Pee Wee House League hockey in Portage Prairie, Manitoba.
Who was a better hockey player?
Well, he was goal,
Oh.
and I was right wing.
He was right wing, yeah.
So, in more ways than one.
Where did your bearings come for punk rock? You know, like, how did you come up with the sound? How did you develop as a band at the very beginning? What was the nucleus of that?
I don't know. The way I remember it was us wanting to form a band for a number of years, like high school, and then we started going to university for a little bit, and there was about a 5-year period where we sort of tried to pick up instruments and learn to play, and through that 5 years, like the music influences kind of developed, and I think we gained a lot of respect for a lot of political content in certain bands that were happening at the time.
I think MDC was the one. Like,
Yeah.
Jord got an MDC record, called the Millions of Dead Cops record, and I couldn't believe it when I looked at it, and I thought it was ridiculous. Like I couldn't believe the lyrics. I thought it was absurd. I'd never heard anything like it. But then went home immediately, got a copy of it, and would sit there reading these lyrics that I thought were absurd, and then realizing that it was actually me who was absurd, and the lyrics made a lot more sense, and their view of the world resonated more with what was happening outside than mine did. So I think for me that record's so pivotal, and just like really shaking up my worldview.
Why Glenn Lambert?
Just this guy we knew. He played hockey on the same team where me and Jord met, and he was this crazy motherfucker in Portage, and he's always fighting, and he'd always fucking grab me, and he'd pile drive me onto cement floors in the dressing room, and just, yeah, his character always stuck with us. I think he's a fucking weirdo.
His vocabulary consisted of 2 words. First one is and the second one is
Yeah.
So but why intentionally transpose that over to Propagandhi? Why say on your website, and why?
Well, I think it was just very random and flippant, and then it developed a life of its own as it turned into a rumor that I had died and was replaced by Glenn.
Have you read anywhere that someone has picked up that Glenn's just not as good a singer, or even a better singer than you were?
I've seen, someone said there were some postings going around on the internet about that.
there's a wide range of responses. Some of them are bagging on Todd and I for keeping the band going without Chris, and I can't believe you guys are doing that. And some are like, man, it's Chris, or this Glenn guy, fuck, he's really good. He's better than Chris.
What type of jobs did you have when you were younger?
McDick's,
McDick's.
janitor, tow truck dispatcher, map maker.
I was a psych nurse's assistant,
Ass wiper.
ass wiper for 5 years. Crop insurance filing clerk. And home care attendant.
Was it true that there was a riot in 1996 at the Propagandhi show in Denver?
Yes.
Explain the riot.
The police came into a building that was full of young people and just said the show was over. And
Because they
people
refused to turn on the air conditioners, and a young woman who happened to be at the show drinking inside passed out because it was very, very hot. And then they canceled the show. Then they wouldn't let a bunch of people who were in outside to get back into the show. They sort of cut the door off.
Oh,
and
no.
there's 300 people waiting outside. They basically said, fuck that, and stormed in. And there happened to be an off-duty cop who was hired to do security. And he just jumped the gun and called the boys down. And
Right.
they basically came in and started unplugging guitars on a band that was playing live on stage, and grabbed the mic and said the show's over. And then a few kids started hucking water bottles at the cops, and then they just started gassing everybody immediately. It was totally fucked.
Gassing how? Like tear gas?
Yeah.
like it looked like a fire extinguisher being blasted in people's faces.
Amazing.
And then running out in the street, it was just total mayhem, with cops throwing 14-year-old girls to the ground and pinning them down with their knees on their backs. And I saw one kid driving in this car. His buddy was taking him into the hospital, I'm assuming, and his arm was just dangling like this, and he's just going, "Look at what the cops did to me."
There's
And
helicopters.
there's helicopters flying around. It was just fucking
We were on the news.
outrageous.
Made the news.
Wow. Have you been back to Denver since?
Yes,
Fine.
totally fine.
Okay. Have you guys ever made an effort to hold concerts in predominantly not non-white neighborhoods?
We have the white people show up.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, but like, I mean, I'm just trying to like automatically change the tenor of the concert, because like I live in East Los Angeles. If you throw a show in East Los Angeles, it's automatically mixed. You will have
Right.
white people. I mean, but you're going to have a huge Hispanic, crowd coming
Right.
in too. So have you ever tried to ever think of plotting tours or anything like that, or is it just a
Essentially, it's like a white male-dominated sort of thing. But I am interested in playing with different sort of genres of music and stuff like that to round out, race, class, and gender and that sort of thing, for sure.
Do you still think you're connected to underground punk rock in a regional sense now, or you just?
I'm not good to answer that question, because I sort of cut myself off from new music a few years ago completely, almost.
Why's that?
I just got bored with it. I couldn't stand the amount of crap that was coming out. And
Right.
just, the 80s I thought was really, really exciting, before the big corporate carrot being dangled in front of everybody and everybody trying to sound like something that was successful already.
Right.
It seemed like there's way more variety. However, I have thought about that because, all the corporate mess and the sort of homogeneous kind of approach to music in general from white middle class dudes would have the effect of that would have to be that there must be a new thriving underground scene sort of developing in different areas. And I
Right.
know that it's kind of happening, but I just don't know what form it's taking and all that kind of stuff. But I would hope that there's exciting things going on in those scenes, for sure.
That's a good answer. How'd you guys get fucked over in Japan?
We didn't speak Japanese, and there was a contract put in front of us about half an hour before a show we were supposed to play, and the guy was like, "Oh, you guys gotta sign this now. I gotta go home. It's my daughter's birthday." And all this stuff. And we're like, "Oh fuck, okay, let's just sign it." And then he said, "Oh, there's a tsunami coming. This show is canceled. You owe us $6,000, and if you don't play these shows basically for free, we're gonna sue your families back home for every penny they have."
So
shit.
yeah, that was our first time there. We had a 3-show tour. That one was canceled, and then we had to play the other 2 basically. Yeah.
Have you gone back?
Yeah, it was great. We went back kind of on a more DIY level.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
really good.
with J Church actually.
Oh, cool.
Lance
Lance being
set it up,
yeah.
and yeah, it was really good.
That's good. What could be something like somebody in suburbia, not really politically aware? What could be some very simple things that they can do to start that process?
Of becoming aware, or in getting actively involved.
Either one.
Yeah, just I would recommend people just taking the time to find out what's going on in their area, and picking a little area that they happen to have like a passionate interest in, whether it's like around an anti-war theme or a pro-environmental kind of thing or whatever. Just, I don't know if punk is a good gateway that much anymore, considering, like, say, before 9/11 with Seattle, Quebec City, and all the anti-G7, G8 sort of stuff going on everywhere around the world. Everybody's protesting this shit all over the place. And then 9/11 kind of happened, and the corporate media really sort of shifted everything to focus on that,
Right.
and excluding all other issues. And I don't know. I think that there was a lot of momentum going on there, and I think that momentum's continuing. But it's just kind of like, with that, I think, and you're speaking earlier about co-optation and music and all that. I think that it's really, really dangerous for punk bands and people supposedly representing, kind of like counterculture, in basically extending a hand to corporate America to help legitimize their corporate interests to a whole new slew of people
Right.
that may otherwise think that that level of stuff is just horseshit and has to be acted against. I think it really, really confuses things for kids, and is a critical tool for the powers that be in legitimizing their interests and regenerating their control. So,
Where Nike or Coke can come in and have an ad campaign that almost looks like a zine from 5 years ago.
I think it
4
seeps
years ago.
down to even lower levels, like less mainstream levels. I think even punk labels are also leveraging that sort of imagery and vernacular to suck people into things that don't really matter and give themselves this idea of street cred,
Right.
where it shouldn't exist.
Everybody dive.
We can shithole planet better in time. Consider someone else. Don't tell me what to do.